Resurrection Sunday on the way. Thank the Lord for that. We're rocking and rolling right here. Hottest show on the streets. Number one form for Bama. Football news in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you all in here on a Friday. Bring you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We stream this to you via YouTube. Speaking of the channel, you know what time it is. You hit that subscribe button right now. You get locked in, locked on. Your number one form for Bama football. Hit the like button, smash the thumbs up, drop a like on the show. We appreciate that. The daily Super Chat Go, $100 daily. Super Chat Go, $100 right there. Thanks to all of you. How about Bama men's basketball dancing on to the Elite Eight for the first time in 20 years. First time since 2004. Bama men's basketball dancing on. Elite Eight took care of top seed North Carolina last night in the Sweet 16, getting the 89-87 win. How about Grant Nelson? Big game for him on last night. So Bama men's basketball dancing on too. The Elite Eight. Bama football had its first scrimmage of spring football on yesterday as well. So we got a lot to get into. We want to hear from you, the Alabama football family. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358 for them to call in to let your voice be made known. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Definitely Want to hear from you. And now, begin the topic number one, Eli, of the conversation this evening, that being the scrimmage of spring practice for Alabama, the game-like practice on Thursday inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. First scrimmage of the Kalen DeBoer era, 8th spring practice here for Alabama football. A lot of good things. A lot of very good things in the first scrimmage. And it starts off with the quarterback room. This is a very good quarterback room. I liken it to the 2017 quarterback room where you had Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones. They all made each other better. They all pushed each other. They were unselfish. They wanted the primary team goal, which was to compete for conference championships, national championships, and just make the offense real deal explosive. And those three guys helped Alabama to a college football playoff national championship in 2017, an SEC championship in 2018, and of course, Mac Jones, the biggest beneficiary of the group, became the starting quarterback for Alabama in 2020, taking that team to an undefeated national championship season in the COVID-shortened year. This quarterback room here has the potential to be really, really, really good under Kalen DeBoer, Nick Sheridan, and Jamarcus Shepard. And the quarterback room headlined Alabama's first scrimmage of spring practice. Coach DeBoer mentioned on Thursday that nobody turned the ball over. Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, Dylan Larnigan, Austin Mack, nobody turned the ball over. Everybody read their keys well, played within the offense highly explosive, but it also has balance to it. Guys throwing touchdown passes out there. Nobody turned the ball over. Very strong quarterback room here. Offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Nick Sheridan talks about how I feel lucky to be in this room. I feel blessed to be able to coach these guys, all talented young men. So we start this thing off of Jalen Milroe, the redshirt junior from Katy, Texas, who continues to have sort of a firm hold so far on QB1, on the starting quarterback job. And DeBoer praised Milroe for his consistency on Thursday, that he's super consistent, he's tough to handle. You think you got him bottled up, but then you don't. We have the coaching staff around him that allows him to play with confidence as a runner, but more importantly as a passer. In the passing game, DeBoer mentioned he's made great improvement. He is getting Alabama into the right sets, into the right pass protection, into the right play, into the right throws on the field. He's moving the chains on third downs. He's making plays throwing the football. I spoke to one source in particular after the scrimmage and was told Stephen Milroe is getting to his third and fourth read way faster than what he was last year. He's getting to his third and fourth read. He's just in so much command of this offense. He knows what's expected of him. He's eating this offense up. He's not showing any sign of regressing when you look at holding firm to QB1. So Milroe looked electric out there. Was told he had several touchdowns. Milroe had several touchdowns, both passing and running. So he's got a firm hold right now on this QB1 spot. And he's having fun. That's the main thing. He's having fun playing ball. He's having fun showing what he can do as a full, complete package quarterback, right? And I've mentioned this before. When you get a guy like Milroe around a coaching staff where you got him around quarterbacks, you got him around guys that know offense, you got him around offensive-minded gurus, all he has to do is be able to pull and glean from those guys. He pulls from Kalen DeBoer, an offensive mind. He pulls from Nick Sheridan, a former quarterback. He pulls from Jamarcus Shepard, a former wide receiver, but also a former passing game coordinator. He pulls from Mitch Dalen, a former quarterback who's now an offensive analyst on staff. He pulls from Brian Ellis, a former quarterback at UAB, who previously an offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Georgia Southern, but now a tight ends coach at Alabama. You got all of these offensive minds around you. So you have no choice but to get better. You have no choice but to improve. You have no choice but to learn. So very thrilled here with Milroe's progress. When you look at the QB2 conversation, Ty Simpson, Dylan Larnagin, both of these two jockeying hard, position themselves for this primary backup spot. At this point, Ty Simpson has a hold on it right now. Simpson did have at least one touchdown pass in the first scrimmage, if you go back and you watch the recap video on Alabama's social media account, looks like that touchdown pass went to Danny Lewis Jr. at tight end. And that's a guy that needs more attention being thrown his way, Danny Lewis Jr. But Ty Simpson did have at least a touchdown pass in the first scrimmage. Dylan Larnagin, what I gained was, from sources I've spoken with, just a pure quarterback. Just a pure quarterback, a guy that's got the arm talent, got the ability, had a big spring last year. If he was older in the classification, probably would have earned the starting job last year. But this season, this time around, Dylan Larnagin continues to make plays in spring ball. So right now it's him and Ty Simpson kind of jockeying this thing out for that primary backup spot behind Milroe, which leads you to Austin Mack. Austin Mack's good. He's a little raw, coming over from Washington, but he's good. Made a couple of those off-platform type throws in the scrimmage. Go back and you watch that recap video. But eventually, Mack will be a star. And Nick Sheridan talked about it prior to the scrimmage. He said, look, Austin's 17 years old. This is his first spring practice at Alabama. So he's going to have to learn some things. He's going to have to grow in some areas. He's getting better by the minute. He's making improvement by the minute. But there are some areas where Austin Mack is going to have to grow in. And that's okay. And that's fine. So, did some good things there in the first scrimmage. He'll continue to grow, continue to develop under DeBoer, Nick Sheridan, Jamarcus Shepard. But Jalen Milroe right now playing with a lot of confidence, playing with a lot of flair, playing with a lot of consistency, accuracy out there on the field in the passing game, making a lot of improvements. This is because he's got an offensive staff around him that allows him to be confident. It allows him to make those improvements. Most importantly, that have the play calling tailored to him. That the play calling suited to or suited for his success. So good quarterback room. Good stuff right there from the first scrimmage of spring practice. We're going to go to our first break right here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting your chest warm, the engine revved up here on a Friday. When we get back, we go on the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Definitely want to hear from you, the Bama family, right after this.
Touchdown Alabama is a fully independent outlet that covers all things Alabama football. Founded in 2007 when Nick Saban arrived, we have been here through the entire Nick Saban era. In this new era, now is the perfect time to stay up to date on everything Alabama football and know what's going on, including everything that's going on with recruiting. Our website at touchdownalabama.com will always keep you in the know on everything that's going on with the Crimson Tide, and you can also get breaking news notifications with our app. We have over 100,000 followers on Facebook, over 60,000 on Twitter, nearly 30,000 on Instagram, over 30,000 on TikTok, and we're constantly growing. Also, be sure to become a part of this rapidly growing venture and subscribe to touchdownalabama.com to get inside and premium information on the team as well as recruiting inside the state of Alabama. We are constantly adding to our premium subscription package, so be sure to lock in now.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we're back rocking and rolling to the action from the break here on the hottest show on the streets here, talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith here of TDA on a Friday. Happy to have you all in here on this evening. My man Eli Walker in the production studio, holding things down the behind the scenes. Continue hitting the like button, tapping that subscribe button, being a part of the community right here, talking nothing but Tide football. Once again, shout out Alabama men's basketball, dancing on to the Elite Eight, taking care of North Carolina in the Sweet 16 at 89-87. Guys, show some love to Jason Haywood with that $5 donation. Dropping the love in there, Jason Haywood. Appreciate him helping us out here on the show. Phone lines open to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to be a part of the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. As you guys are getting your thoughts and the calling of the show on this evening, we got a cool call topic here, Eli. So, University of Alabama, they did put out the activity list for the A-Day game coming up here Saturday, April 13th. Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, 3 p.m. Central Time. And a part of that activities list, of course, you got the alumni football game. You got the Tide Pride fan experience. I mean, you've got the annual team captains or permanent team captains from the previous team. They will address the crowd. And, of course, they'll go over to Denny Chimes and have their handprint and cleat print in the cement as team captains forever in terms of the Alabama football folklore. Now, Nick Saban, Malachi Moore, and Jalen Milroe will address the crowd, will speak to the crowd during or before the A-Day game. So Saban, Milroe, Malachi Moore all represent a 2023 SEC champion Alabama Crimson Tide. Milroe and Moore were both voted permanent team captains by their peers at the end of the regular season last year, going into the college football playoffs. So Milroe and Malachi will have their handprint and cleat print in the cement on Denny Chimes forever as team captains. But of course, Nick Saban will address the crowd. He'll speak to the people as well. So that'll be fun to check that out. That'll be fun to watch that. That'll be fun to kind of be a part of that. But we're going to take a break right here on the show. When we get back, we're getting to the topic number 2 of a conversation that is other things. Other aspects from the first scrimmage of spring ball that stood out. You don't want to miss it, folks. We'll be back right after this. We're out here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa. Oh, yeah, this. Gotta get this. Gotta get one of these right here. Can't rock that Bama without this shirt right here, fresh polo. You gotta also rock the all pink, like Kanye West right there. Keychains, gotta get you some keychains. University of Alabama keychains. I'm telling you, if you are a die-hard Alabama fan and you're looking for some big-time apparel, this place has got everything. We're talking shirts, shoes, sweatshirts, hoodies, cups, mugs, keychains. If you're just a Tide fan that has an itch to get more apparel, get more swag in your game, you come right here at Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, right here in Midtown Village. And also you can shop online. The link is in the description to get your gear right here at Alumni Hall.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
Well, folks, we're back in here to the action from the break. TGIF edition of the show. Happy Good Friday to everybody. Hottest show on the streets here, talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Continue tapping that subscribe button. Hit subscribe right here on the show. Stay locked in on all things Bama football news here. Hit the like button, tap that thumbs up as well, showing that support. Hit the notification bell so that way you miss nothing when it comes down to your Bama football news. The daily Super Chat goal, $100 daily Super Chat goal, $100 right there. We appreciate that from all of you. But topic 2 of the conversation here, just other things. We are all wanting to know about the quarterback room. We all know about the quarterbacks, Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, Lornick, and Austin Mack. Everybody's keen on the quarterback room, and obviously so. I mean, quarterback is the face of the team. That makes everything go round. But there are other positions that you need to be aware of. There are other positions that need to be made known to you that stood out in the first scrimmage of spring ball. So let's get to those positions also. First and foremost, Kalen DeBoer mentioned that the first scrimmage went 85 to 90 plays. He said the game-like practice was as good as he hoped for it to be. So very good first scrimmage. Got some things done. Got some looks out there. Saw the players that can play with confidence, can play with fire, can play with intensity, doing and executing their job to perfection or close to perfection as they absolutely can. But, the number one thing to look at here, the center position on the offensive line. Parker Brassiford comes over from Washington as a transfer. He understands the system. He played in it under Nick Sheridan and Kalen DeBoer. But do not sleep on James Brockermeyer. Don't sleep on Brock. Brockermeyer, the former 4-star in the 2021 class from Fort Worth, Texas, All Saints Episcopal High School there. He and his brother, Tommy Brockermeyer, the former 5-star, they both came in the 2021 class. Of course, Tommy transferred back to TCU. James sticks around, and James has gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. I've talked to sources. He snaps the ball beautifully, so you don't have to worry about that being an issue. And James Brockermeyer has put on some weight, highly cerebral, highly intelligent. According to Coach Chris Kaplovich, has picked up this system extremely fast. Don't sleep on Brockermeyer. Whether it's Brassiford or Brockermeyer, whoever wins the job, you're fine at center either way, but do not sleep on Brockermeyer. Young man can play. It's taken him a minute. Offensive line is one of those positions where it takes you some time to grow. It takes you some time to develop. Sometimes you get a guy that hits as a freshman. He's ready to play right then. He's ready to play instantly. But more times than not, it takes offensive linemen a while to develop. And here's the case with Brockermeyer. He came in highly regarded. His dad, Blake Brockermeyer, former All-American offensive tackle at Texas. He spent 9 years in the National Football League, so we always knew the genes. The potential was there for James, but had to grow, had to develop, had to learn some things. But first scrimmage, bigger, stronger, physical, highly cerebral, knows the offense, snaps the ball beautifully. Do not sleep on James Brockermeyer in this battle at the center position. Moving on from Brockermeyer to another thing that stood out from the scrimmage is Alabama's got a great running back room. We talk about the quarterback room. The running back room's got studs. And I know the main two, Justice Haynes, Jam Miller, as your 1-2 punch, obviously. But the two others behind them, Richard Young and the freshman, Daniel Hill, no slouches. Richard Young had a touchdown in the first scrimmage. You go back and you watch the recap video on the Alabama football Twitter page there. Richard Young, power, speed, size, athleticism, versatility, he's got it. Came in as a 5-star from Florida in the 2023 class. There's Richard Young. Daniel Hill, the freshman from Meridian, Mississippi, is a physical freak. This dude, Wildcat quarterback out of high school. According to Robert Gillespie, running backs coach, I got a chance to speak with him, early on in spring practice. The guy, Daniel Hill, very smart, picked up the playbook fast in terms of the blocking schemes, protection schemes, things of that nature. Still developing, growing, learning things, but when you talk about the natural ability, Daniel Hill is strong. Guys are not bringing him down just arm tackling. One guy is not bringing Daniel Hill down. When you look at the short yardage goal line situations, that young man could be a big factor in the short yardage goal line situation. So Daniel Hill, physical freak as a freshman. Richard Young, got all the tools you want there as a running back. So it's not just Justice and Jam, but you got a full running back room with Richard Young and Daniel Hill in there as well, doing some good things there in the first scrimmage. When you look at the wide receivers, this group can get back to being the productive unit that we saw Alabama have when you talk about receiver rooms like Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, John Mechie, rooms like that. Now, Henry Ruggs also in there. So will it have the same kind of production as those guys did? Probably. We'll have to see. Could happen. But here we go. This room, though, is nothing short of explosive. You got Kobe Prentice, who's the marquee route runner. Best routes on the team, Kobe Prentice. You got Kendrick Law, who built like Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers, but Kendrick Law is a utility knife. He can block. He can catch the ball. He can run routes. He can get the ball out the backfield. He can be a return specialist. Like, Kendrick Law is a full-on utility knife. I go back to, remember how Alabama used Josh Jacobs at running back 2018 and 2019? I could see Bama using Kendrick Law the same way. The same way as it did Josh Jacobs. So keep your eye on that right there. Emmanuel Henderson, now it's his time. E-Man came in, elite athlete, Geneva County High School here in Alabama, was a 3-sport athlete, a guy that has a lot of talent. Coach DeMarcus Shepard said, hey, this guy, he can fly, he's fast, he can run, the ability to drop his weight, getting in and out of breaks, has improved tremendously. This is a guy that has the football IQ, the football knowledge. Very impressed with him. E-Man can play, can flat play. And E-Man could be the guy that steps up in the absence of one Jalen Hale, who is dealing with, had a knee injury. So Jalen Hale out for the remainder of the spring. Hopefully, Alabama will have him back by fall camp and by the start of the 2024 season in the fall. But Emmanuel Henderson can be the guy to step up with Hale out. And then Caleb Odom's just a freak of nature. I mean, 6'5", 215 pounds. He's a stud. Smooth route runner despite his size. Can get open quickly. Can make the catches. He's a sponge. He's absorbing everything. Coach Shep mentioned, he was happy to pull Caleb Odom away from the tight ends. He will be a wide receiver until otherwise. Odom's having a very good spring. Had a good scrimmage there on Thursday. So there's that wide receiver room there. And then when you look at Jeremy Bernard, the most comfortable in the route tree in terms of that wide receiver room. He made a couple of really nice catches there in the first scrimmage. He replaces what you lost in Isaiah Bond going to the portal and then ultimately going to the Texas Longhorns. Another guy that I have not put his picture on screen to keep your eye on is Bubba Hampton. Aaron Bubba Hampton, 4-star from Texas, but Alabama flipped from Steve Sarkisian. In the 2024 class, according to Kobe Prentice, Bubba's got routes. He's got routes. He's got playmaking ability. He's going to be a good one. Aaron Hampton's going to be a good one. So that's not going to keep your eyes on. That receiver room deep. That receiver room's got weapons. That receiver room's got playmakers. Hurts that Jalen Hale went down this week in practice on Tuesday. But you got some guys that can step up and take up the slack with him out and in that, recovery process at this time. But as we flip this thing now over to the defensive line, everybody's getting after it. Everybody's flying to the ball in the swarm defense. But the two people I want to bring up are two linebackers, Keanu Coate and Jeremiah Alexander. These two are two athletic dudes that are ready to take over. Jeremiah Alexander, I remember watching him at Thompson High School in Alabaster, former 5-star in the 2022 class, helped Thompson to a Class 7A state title in 2021. Alexander, mean, nasty, aggressive player in high school. And we've been kind of waiting on, does he become that guy at Alabama? Does he break out in Tuscaloosa? When would that moment come for him? He started off as an outside linebacker, got switched to inside. I strategically asked Kalen DeBoer about Alexander on Thursday. This is what Kalen DeBoer said. This guy plays with passion. He plays with intensity. He plays with effort. He plays with physicality. Stuff happens when he's on the field. Stuff happens when he's out there. It's serious stuff when Jeremiah Alexander's on the field. I'm just glad he's on my side. That was Kalen DeBoer's answer to me talking Jeremiah Alexander. So the light bulb is on. He's ready to pop. I'm excited to see what Alexander does here in the spring game in the upcoming season. Then for Keanu Coate, Coate was out there getting it. Heard from respective sources, he's got Will Anderson type of speed. Not on Anderson's level just yet, but the speed is there. The pass rush ability is there. The ability to be dangerous and dynamic is there for this young man out of Florida, former 4-star, Keanu Coate. So you got two guys, two linebackers, two athletic dudes ready to be unleashed here in not just the A-Day game, but also in the coming season in the fall. That's good news right there. And so last but not least, Alabama secondary, you got veteran guys, Malachi Moore, Devontae Smith's got some playing experience. Keon Saab coming over from Michigan's got some playing experience. But the freshman that has taken over spring practice, Red Morgan, young man from Phoenix City, Alabama, Central Phoenix City High School. Keep your eyes on Red Morgan. There has been a day that's gone by in spring practice that somebody has not talked about this young man right here. Red Morgan had a pass breakup in the scrimmage. Red Morgan, whether it's Kalen DeBoer, whether it's Colin Hitzler, safeties coach, whether it's teammates, Malachi Moore, Devontae Smith, people talk about Morgan's athleticism, Morgan's hunger, Morgan's wanting to be great, him wanting to excel, him wanting to soak up everything and pick up everything. Morgan right now is battling at two different positions. He's battling with Keon Sabb at free safety. He's also battling with Devontae Smith at that Husky position. One of those two spots Red Morgan can start in. All I'm saying is this, Eli, if Morgan starts at free safety, it'll be the first time in a long time where your two starting safeties are both in-state prospects, in-state products from the state of Alabama. Like, how big would that be, Eli, in recruiting? If Red Morgan starts at free safety, how big would that be in recruiting to have Malachi Moore, native of Trussville, Alabama, starting at strong safety, and Red Morgan, native of Phoenix City, Alabama, starting at free safety? I mean, what would that do in recruiting? Recruiting would blow up. Or, if not free safety, if Red Morgan starts at Husky, that'd be great too. Because that would still give you at least two guys in state starting. But you also got to look at Jaleel Hurley, who had a good scrimmage. Hurley, native of Florence, Alabama, went to Florence High School, North Alabama area there. He had a good scrimmage as one of two cornerbacks, boundary corners. But he's trying to fend off Xavier Brown, who's in good contention for a starting job, the young man from California. So, nothing I care about the secondary, but Red Morgan has been the guy everyone's talked about here in spring practice. But those were just other aspects of the first scrimmage that stood out to me, coming from credible people that I've gotten this source down from. But we take another break here, folks, in the show. Don't touch that dial, folks. When we get back, we jump back into the phone lines to grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We get to a dialogue with you, the Bama fans, after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back locked and loaded to the action from the break. Number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have Eli Walker in the production studio here. Bama men's basketball danced on to the Elite Eight for the first time in 20 years, first time since 2004. Nate Oates and company took down North Carolina, the top-seeded Tar Heels, 89-87 on yesterday. Alabama will take on Clemson in the Elite Eight. Eli, I've said this. I grew up a Bama men's basketball fan. If Bama gets to the Final Four, just get me a Final Four t-shirt. I will gladly go into cardiac arrest. I've said that. Get me a Final Four t-shirt. Like, this is awesome. Grant Nelson, big game last night. Mark Sears has been consistent all season. Rylan Griffin gives you something. Three-point bucket. Guy that can score. Estrada gives you toughness. He can score also. Right sail. Hopefully we can have him back for Clemson. Diabate, what a game he had against Grand Canyon. Came off the bench, gave you 13. Like, if this team, Eli, if this team does not fall under complacency against Clemson, go out there with your hair on fire, with something to prove, attack the basket, don't get in foul trouble. Grant Nelson, whatever you ate prior to the game against North Carolina, I'm going to need you to have that same meal. I don't care if it was chicken fingers and fries from grandma's house. Get grandma up, have her prepare them same chicken fingers and fries. Because the way you played last night, son, woo! I was so happy for you. I was so proud of you, man. So, Grant Nelson, whatever you had, I don't care what the meal was. Have that meal served again. We need that meal again. Anyway, phone lines open, folks. 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be made known on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. As again, your thoughts to call into the show here. Call topic here, Eli, as I mentioned, Jalen Hale, the sophomore wide receiver from Longview, Texas, was confirmed by Kangan DeBoer. It is a knee injury. It is significant. He'll be out for the remainder of the spring, to the sadness of the Bama fan base, but hopefully Bama will have him back. Fall camp, 2024 season in the fall. I think he'll be back fall camp, 2024 season in the fall. Here's a young man that, last year showed flashes of good potential. 5 catches, 148 yards. Did have a touchdown reception from Jalen Milroe last season, a 33-yard touchdown catch to be exact against Ole Miss. At 6'1", 189 pounds, Kobe Prentice told me Jalen Hale greatly matured. A guy that has sneaky, deceptive speed, can get in and out of his breaks fast. A guy that's getting a bigger role on the team, and just when you're about to have a bigger role on the team, you suffer an injury in spring practice. So I hate it for Jalen. Prayers out to him. Our thoughts, our condolences out to him here at TDA, that he has a strong recovery, that he has a smooth recovery, that he's able to hopefully get back in time for fall camp in the 2024 season, because that's a big-time playmaker, Eli. That's a big-time playmaker. And if you're Alabama, I know we have adapted the next man up mantra. I understand we have the next man up moniker. But when you have a big-time potential playmaker like that, that guy gets hurt, and there's a chance you could have him back in time for back in time for the regular season early. You definitely want to have that guy back in time for the regular season. But we're going to go to our final break here, folks. We'll touch that down. When we get back, we wrap things up with can Alabama's offensive line locate its 2 offensive tackles? Like, that's the main sort of weakness problem right now. But can it locate those 2 offensive tackles? We close things up with that discussion after this.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
What's going on? This is Benny Bice. I'm the founder and owner of Touchdown Alabama. And you guys are supporting one of the only independent outlets covering Alabama football today. No other sports, no networks, just Alabama football. Roll Tide Roll.
All right, folks, here we go. We're back to the action from the break here. Number 1 ticket for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA on a Friday. Appreciate all of you guys checking us out here this evening. My man Eli Walker in the production studio holding things down. Bama in the Elite 8 men's basketball. Like I said, I want a Final Four. That's all I want. Now, if Bama wins the national championship, y'all may not hear from me for a couple of days. But if it gets to the Final Four, which is all I want, like I said, just get me a Crimson Tide, Final Four jersey. I will gladly go into cardiac arrest there in that Final Four jersey, T-shirt. Eli, I think, Eli, you're even a bigger fan than me. I mean, you play basketball yourself. So if Bama beats Clemson, Eli, and goes to the Final Four, what is your reaction? Because of the two of us, you're the bigger baller. Like, you're the bigger guy on the court. So if Nate Oates and Bama beats Clemson tomorrow night, and they go in the Final Four, like, what would be your first reaction? Especially if I were to call your phone. Well, Eli, what would be your first reaction? As he's really typing this up to communicate this to me, we're gonna get Eli's reaction. Oh, Eli said my voice will be gone. So Eli would not even be able to talk to me. His voice would be gone by then if Alabama beats Clemson in the Elite Eight to go to the Final Four. So Eli's voice would be completely gone. I will be somewhere in Academy Sports getting me a Final Four t-shirt. That's where I'll be. Somewhere in Academy Sports. Hopefully the line won't be too long getting me a Final Four shirt. If this was to happen. And Eli is now seriously communicating back to me. Let's see what he's got here on the screen. Let's see what you got here, Eli. Let's see what you got here. Man, I got to do some extreme typing here. Here we go. Do they still release? I think they do, Eli. I think they still do release those shirts at midnight. I think Academy Sports still does that. I think Academy Sports does that. I think Hibbett Sports does that too. They always did it for football. Like the 09 national championship team, they did that. The 11 championship team in football, they did that. The 12 championship team. For football, they normally do it. They always do it for football. Like Academy will do it. Hibbett Sports would do it. Just other. I think the Nike outlet did it 1 year. The Nike outlet did it 1 year. So hopefully Alabama goes to the Final Four, they'll get those shirts out. But final discussion here at the conversation tonight, folks. Bama football. The offensive tackle position, this is the one sort of weakness, question, concern that's happening here with the Bama program, because the interior of the offensive line, the center and the guard positions, those are solid. You're solid there. Tyler Booker, Jaden Roberts, they are monsters at the guard position. Center position, you're straight either way with Brockermeyer or Brassford. But the offensive tackle spots, that's where Bama needs some help. That's where Coach Chris Kapp is going to make his most money at, developing the two offensive tackle spots, left tackle and right tackle. Now, we all got the news of Caden Proctor wanting to get in the transfer portal, leave Iowa to come back to Alabama, right? We all got that news, saw that story. Caden Proctor has not arrived on campus yet. He has not. Does he intend on arriving when the portal reopens back up on April 15th? Probably so. We'll have to see. If that happens and he wins the job back at left tackle, then that will solve half the problem. You got the left tackle right there if Caden Proctor wins the job back. But for right now, you got talent at both. You got talent at offensive tackle. Elijah Pritchett's talented. N'Keal Bertrand would transfer from Texas A&M. He's talented. Miles McVay is talented, very strong also. Wilkin Formby is talented. Joseph Ionata is talented. Casey Poe is talented. Both of those two guys are freshmen. You got some talented guys, right? But who do you trust? Who do you trust at offensive tackle that can establish a base, kick out, establish that base, catch those blitzing, speedy defensive ends and outside linebackers, hold them in place, and if they try to get past you, still be able to kick, establish, and reestablish your base, right? Anchor down, establish, anchor down, and if those guys try to get by you, catch them, and then reestablish, anchor that base, and protecting the quarterback. I know I'm getting into a coaching mode here as I'm moving around, but who are those guys you can trust to do that. The guys you have on the roster are talented, but who can Alabama trust at both tackle positions to do that? That's going to be the biggest development throughout the spring, because if the guys on the roster you don't trust to do that, then that means April 15th, Kalen DeBoer has got to dip into the transfer portal to find an offensive tackle. If the guys can show quick growth and development for the remainder of spring practice, then you may not have to do that. But that's the lone issue right now, is the offensive tackle position. Everything else is fine. You're good at quarterback, you're good at running back, you're good at wide receiver, you're good at tight end, you're good defensive line, you're good linebackers, you're good secondary, you're even good on special teams. The only issue is the offensive tackle spots. You get you some guys you can trust to kick, to establish, anchor down, reestablish, catch these blitzing defensive players. Give the quarterback time to throw in the pocket, because the 44 sacks that Jalen Milroe took last year were unacceptable. Some of that was, yes, Milroe holding on to the ball entirely too long, yes. Some of that was bad snaps from Seth McLaughlin, yes. But some of that also was just the offensive tackles not protected. Right? Just the guys on the outside, sometimes just letting guys get by and not protected. So that's the big thing. Who do you trust here at the offensive tackle positions to kick out, establish the anchor, reestablish, keep defensive players away from your quarterback? But as always, Bama Nation, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage here on your favorite program, that being Alabama football. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store. If you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store. If you got the Android phone for your audio needs, check us out. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll try to be back on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Bama fans, want to shout out all of you for all of the chat in the YouTube chat line, the donations, you making this your show, your spot, your avenue to talk all things Bama football. Appreciate that. Guys, show some love to my man Eli Walker in the production studio. Handling that business there from behind the scenes. Till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing too. Not be bored there. You get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Enjoy the resurrection season. Thank the Lord, Jesus got up. Got up. Resurrection season. Appreciate all of you for checking us out today. I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and as always, you've been listening to In My Own Words.